Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Thursday, February 15th. And as we look at the Mackinac Bridge here this morning, a little fog out there and lots of fog as you get into southern lower Michigan where there are dense fog advisories, and we'll show you that in a moment. Milder and drier conditions overall, but we got some rain moving in today, and that'll end some of the dryness we've had, and we'll see maybe around a tenth to as much as a quarter of an inch, but we got plenty more rain coming next week. We got a little snow on Saturday, so we got a whole bunch of up and down conditions coming up. But overall, it looks like a pretty mild next 7 days before the cold air moves in for later next week. And again, we got that fog out there this morning. Looks like we'll see temperatures today around 40, 45 degrees in many areas. And then I think, again, next week it's going to be quite rainy and wet. I could easily see many areas picking up over an inch of rain, but again, winter's not over, and we see plenty of cold temperatures coming for the last part of the month and as we go into the month of March. Yesterday, we had a high of 40 degrees in Breckenridge, warmer off to the south, low of 21. This morning so far, our low has only been 37 degrees, so pretty warm out there, and we're now down to 5.5 inches of snow on the ground. If we look at conditions around the area this morning, you see temperatures mainly in the 40s across many areas, upper 30s over in the western part of the state. And again, you can see in the gray shade area, that's where we have the dense fog advisories going across the area. And you can see quite foggy as we look at the picture from Blissfield here from this morning. And if we look at the satellite view this morning, you can see our next weather maker bringing some light rain into the area here, especially for late this morning into this evening. I think that'll be the most likely time period for the more significant rain. Again, it won't be a heavy rain pattern, but definitely going to see some rain out there this morning. You can see that rain on the radar coming out of Missouri and Iowa, even a mix as you get farther north. So areas up in central Michigan off to the north might see a brief period of mixed precipitation this evening, but again, for the most part, this will be a light rain pattern. If we look at the weather map this morning, you can see lots of low pressure off to our west, and we're going to have basically that baroclinic zone running from the Rockies down into the Ohio, Tennessee valleys, up into the northeast, and that's been a pretty dominant feature here for the last couple of weeks with lots of precipitation across the mid-states here, across the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley. That's where the bulk of the heaviest rain and snows have been for the most part. But again, as this warm air tries to push north, we'll have plenty of rainfall. And overall, this zone is going to be moving just a little bit farther north, and that's going to bring some heavier precipitation into much of the state as we get into next week. You can see over the next 72 hours, not a lot of snowfall, just a little bit up in the UP, maybe over 2 inches. But again, for the most part, trace to maybe inch and a half amounts. And actually, I think the better chance of some of that in our area is going to be up around the Mount Pleasant, Harrison, Clare, Big Rapids area. But for the most part, this will not be much. That'll be for later Saturday into Saturday evening as it looks right now, as more warm air begins to press into the area after a couple of cold days. As far as the 7-day rainfall from the WPC, this continues to shift further and further north with the last several runs. Actually, we'll show another map that was just updated as of the 060 run. It actually takes about an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, all the way up into mid-Michigan. As far as the forecast goes for today, 90% chance of that rain showers moving in for the afternoon, and then we'll see temperatures fall off tomorrow, only getting up into the upper 20s, and then into the low 30s on Saturday with a little bit of snow. Again, a trace to possibly an inch and a half as you get into the far northern MAC areas, but again, not likely we'll see much in the way of that, but certainly some snow could be in the air on Saturday. Sunday doesn't look too bad, highs in the upper 30s with plenty of sunshine. And it looks like a rainy day and Monday coming up for much of the area, kind of a Carpenter's type day. And if we look at the weather watch this morning, you see the extensive area of dense fog across southern lower Michigan, northern Indiana, into much of northern Illinois at this time. And again, so be careful out there on the roadways. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, and 73s to all.